Hello and welcome. Today we're traveling to the wonderful La La Land of Hollywood. Yes, Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, the place where actors go to try and find fame, to become famous, and a place where once upon a time I wanted to go myself. And before we dive into the main topic of today's video, I want to do a little bit of a look back. I want you to sit back with me, take a seat, have a look at the fire. Let's go somewhere familiar. Let's go somewhere nice, and let's look back on some memories of when Dan wanted to be an actor. Yes, it all started where for many actors, I'm sure it does, in school, where I did a lot of theatrical performances. And our first stop on memory lane is a land of legends. You see this lovely, lovely little play right here, starring myself and a good friend of mine, Aiden. Shout out to Aiden Green, host of a Doctor Who podcast, 50%. Go check it out. Yes, we starred as true blue Aussie travelers in this lovely old tale. It was one of my first proper, big acting things where I went on this tour. We did a lot of different performances. It was amazing. As you can see here, international drama tour. That's whoa. Fun fact, I actually kept that hat. I have it right here. I stole this hat from that production. So yeehaw, baby. Our next memory takes us to a very interesting time. This was a play that I did in high school with a couple of interesting characters that you might recognize. Here we have Aiden once again in his wonderful actor days. I can't remember who he was playing here, but it was some high school, Chad guy. I think his name might have actually been Chad. I've blurred out the faces here, but we've got another familiar face right here. Connor, co-host of the 50% Doctor Who podcast, also a good friend of mine, looking very different than he does now. And then myself, looking like, I don't know, I kind of look scary here. I look like a Ken doll wax Madame Tussauds figure or something. Hey man, that's the actor life. You got to do photo shoots. You got to dress in preppy costumes. I mean, that's a decent fit, it's interesting. I've dressed up as the president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump. Here I am doing the signature, hey guys, it's the Donald. Thank you. I know that was a very spot on impression, but I might have to stop your applause because I did take a controversial photo that I kind of forgot about. I don't know if this is problematic. I took this photo with... I guess these guys, it wasn't planned. They just happened to be dressed as Mexicans. Yeah, look, I know it's a little bit of a edgy photo that we have here, but hey, look, it's memories. This is the face of a committed character actor right there. My shenanigans don't stop there. You see, I've dressed as plenty of different characters. Wally here with my girlfriend at a Halloween party. We've done German, what do you call these? Fraulein and friend. Yes, this is our Oktoberfest fit. Judge it all you will, but hey, we love dressing up. What can I say? I also consider myself to have range. I've played a multitude of roles, including, as you can see here, a very interesting gender swap of a mafia couple. So, that was a fun little party dress up. And of course, as any true actor has, I have done stage work. You can see here, I've got I've got my phone in my pocket. That's not very professional. But I've got these beautiful leather jeans, the Doc Martens, gloves, rainbow suspenders, a little thing on my handkerchief. I'm singing, I'm belting out a tune. It's this is a real actor, guys. I mean, you can't deny it. But now that we've taken a trip down memory lane, it's time to come back to the present and check out what the heck is going on in Hollywood. What shenanigans are they up to? There's some fishy stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here to investigate. Detective Dan is on the case. We're going to get to the bottom of this Hollywood situation. Oh my God, these lightning bolts are so intense. Today, we're going to look at Hollywood's trend of doing weird things to actors' genitals. Yes, you read the title correctly. We are going to talk about all the strange shenanigans that have been going on lately in Hollywood regarding actors and their, let's just say their special region. And we're talking about this today because I think it's such a weird taboo topic, and I think Hollywood just deals with it in such a strange way. And we're going to look at a few examples of the way in which Hollywood has dealt with this particular situation and take a look at how baffling their decisions have been. Our first story is from a franchise known far and wide. Yes, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They have a problem with bulges, particularly a new character. So this actor here is playing Namor in Marvel's upcoming or just released Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And this tweet pointed out something quite interesting that caught the attention of a lot on the internet. It says here, not only did Marvel edit out his bulge, but these shots are just unflattering. That Namor is still so hot despite these factors working against him is a testament to his nuclear level of fuckability. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a thirst tweet going on here, but I think the substance is worth digging into. Let's do a zoom and enhance. Okay, so over here, we've got original, actual human bulge. penis in pants. That's what happens when you put a penis in pants, folks. I'm sorry to tell you. Over here, we have the Marvel edited version monstrosity, which is basically just bulgeless, sexless, absent of any sexual organ superhero type vibe that they're going for. And I gotta say, guys, this is some whack stuff. I don't know if I can get down with all this. I mean, when people put on tight pants, like human anatomy, we're not Ken dolls. You know what I mean? We're not all flat down there. People have bits. When I go to the movies, I want my heroes to have genitals. Yo, killing me with this. Come on. I mean, this article goes on to explain that essentially the removal of his genitals is just a family-friendly ploy from Disney. As far as I can tell, it doesn't seem to be anything really political. It's just that they don't want to be controversial. They want to be as sexless and androgynous as possible. I don't know. Maybe that is political. I don't know. If kids and families are going to sit down in the cinema and watch this movie, we don't want them to be thinking about dicks. And I understand that. As someone who respects the human form and human anatomy, you know, why can't we just have a little bulge here and there? Make Scorsese proud and give us more bulges. Okay, but we've got plenty more to look at today, folks. Our next story is about Bryce Dallas Howard's butt. I was going to say ass, but that's a little bit crude, so I'm not going to say ass. You're not going to get it out of me. You're not going to get my ass out of me. This is another story that went viral on social media through a tweet that pointed out that Bryce Dallas Howard's butt is so big, they had to Photoshop it down in the Jurassic World poster. And here we see a comparison of Bryce Dallas Howard from the Jurassic World poster and from, I believe this is a red carpet event that she's attending. Look at that for a second, because that is like those look like nearly different people, right? I mean, that's crazy. This article claims that the photo on the right here was taken 10 months after the Jurassic World poster was shot, or the movie was shot, which presumably is when they shot the poster. They say that in the photo on the right, she's gained 30 pounds, otherwise known as 15 kgs for any non-Americans. So she's 15 kgs heavier here on the right because she gained weight for a role. She had a role where she was supposed to be a little bit bigger than she was. And I gotta admit, I don't fully buy, I mean, maybe it's a camera angle thing, but that doesn't look like a difference of 30 pounds. Even if she was at a lower weight, it still looks to me like there's a little bit of Photoshop trickery. And I think this is something you can't put past Disney on their posters. She's literally wearing high heels in the poster of an action movie. It's completely stupid and ridiculous. And not to mention, she's got no assets. Like, come on, man. I'm probably like gonna come off so horny. I'm not trying to be horny in this video. I just think it's weird that Hollywood is so comfortable messing with like human anatomy. Because whether or not this was Photoshopped, personally, I think that she looks pretty good and healthy at this heavier weight. And I don't see why Hollywood or Disney or whoever had to have her at such a small, skinny weight where, you know, if you ask me, there's a lot more to show off or enjoy in the photo on the right. And so, you know, whether it was Photoshopped or whether she was under pressure from producers to be incredibly skinny and small for a main blockbuster Hollywood movie, either way, Hollywood done fucked up on this one. Release the Bryce Dallas Howard cut. Cowards. Another article from The Chive with a couple of humorous tweets about this butt fiasco that I wanted to show you. Here's someone declaring this is what they took from you, of course. Might as well call it jerk park because they done took the ass right out. That's true. Reject modernity, embrace tradition. I do like this new version of the poster. That looks better to me. Now this is where my suspicion goes further because this says, someone just said Lord and then they posted this screenshot, which I think is from the movie. And I'm like, if this is a screenshot from the movie, that doesn't seem to match this poster. Like that is definitely fishy to me. First they came for Lola Bunny's big naturals and I said nothing. Yeah, well, we all know it's a slippery slope, don't we? And we're going to finish this Bryce Dallas Howard part showing this tweet that says same energy, showing a headline reading, Willem Dafoe required a body double in Antichrist because of his distractingly large member. Quote, he's extremely well equipped, says the director. Oh, wow. Willem Dafoe W right there. More like Willie Dafoe, right? Okay, moving on to our next story about Theo James in the new season of White Lotus. I'm going to show you a screenshot, so get ready to close your eye. Look away if it's too graphic for you. It is censored, but here is a shot. Oh, wow, I'm perfectly covering. I am the censor right now. Just so everyone knows, there is a censor box right here. Now my face is in it for some reason. But I'm just gonna censor it myself. This was a very iconic White Lotus scene that became quite instantly iconic, where Theo James, this actor right here, shows his member, to reuse a phrase. And as much as this scene drove the internet wild, I am very sorry to report that yes, the penis was a quote ginormous prosthetic. You know, it wasn't that big, like, you know, I've seen bigger, like in the mirror and stuff, you know, whatever. But, you know, I wanted to show this article because I'm kind of disappointed that it wasn't a real cock. I'm just saying, like, when female actresses do a nude scene, there's quite a lot of expectations for them to like bear all and do it for real. Whereas I don't know why, but for some reason, guys, it's like a taboo thing to show your cock and balls on TV. I think we need more of it, if you ask me. Get some representation, get some guy genitalia out there. We need it. Look, I'm all for donkey-sized prosthetics, but not every man's hung like a donkey. I'm sorry to say this. And sometimes we need some grower representation, so to speak. This is what Hollywood's taken away from you, man. They don't want real dicks on your screens, you know? This is the corporate control of the media that we need to fight against. Taking our dicks away. Oh, okay, there's the photo again. Next story. Back to fake genitals, or actors faking their genitals. A woman's doing it this time, so fair enough. This one is about Dakota Johnson in the 50 Shades of Grey movies, claiming that her pubic hair was fake and that she had a bum double for spanking scenes. Oh my God. You know, come on. We can't even do, you know, a good old fashioned spank. No, that's bad. That's a bad joke. Cut that. Personally, I actually understand the spanking thing, and this is not from a sex point of view. This is just from a time point of view. If there's going to be a shot of a famous actress or actor where their face isn't showing, you usually get body doubles just to save money. So you don't have to pay the actor there for a shot that you could easily get with a cheaper actor showing the same body part, whether it's a hand or, you know, legs or a butt. So that part I actually don't really care about. The part that I just find interesting is that basically what they explain in this article is that Dakota Johnson, let's just say the curtains match the hardwood floors, if you catch my drift. And, you know, she had things pretty taken care of down there, pretty shaved, pretty bare. And I guess they don't really explain in the article why they've CGI'd pubic hair onto her. I don't know if it was to make it less explicit, like, you know, it can kind of block some more not safe for work things that you don't want to show on a movie screen. I also think it's kind of funny, like, couldn't they just have given her a few weeks notice and she just like couldn't have shaved for a bit, and then, you know, they wouldn't have had to go through the trouble of CGIing a whole bush on? It's just pretty interesting. By the way, I don't blame the actors in this. My fault goes to, you know, Hollywood and the producers and the editors, because I think this is weird. Why are we presenting versions of people that don't exist? Hollywood has plenty of flaws, but at the end of the day, when you're telling a story, when you're making a movie, you're supposed to try and portray things as they are, portray the world as it is, so that we can pass on stories and share stories to people. I just think if you're going to portray things that have no basis in reality, or, you know, is not actually how people act or feel or do, then what's the point? You're just showing a fake version of people to the public. I want to point out, just because I find the wording of this hilarious, in this article it says, cinema goers were left stunned by the amount of times Dakota Johnson seemingly revealed her lady bits in 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know why they say seemingly, because I guess like she did or she didn't. It's like if she did and it was covered by pubes, I guess that counts still, I guess. But now the film cinematographer has admitted her rather excessive pubic hair in the movie was actually fake and she had a bum double. Funny way to put it. I just think it's interesting. It's like, are they trying to put a certain desirable figure into the public's eye? And they definitely do this with men. I mean, a lot of the men in Hollywood are like big, muscly guys with donkey-sized penises. But women, they get it rough. I mean, Hollywood sets such a narrow expectation for how women are supposed to look and act and be. You know, you look at the Bryce Dallas Howard picture, you look at the having to add pubes. It's just, it's bizarre. We're going to move on to what may be the exact opposite of this story, a man getting hair removed from his body. Yes, this was the infamous Henry Cavill mustache debacle. Now, I am going to count this as Hollywood messing with genitals because a mustache, as you can see here, is technically pubic hair. Yes, we have a question. Is a mustache pubic hair? Sorry to break it to you fellas, but that beard on your face is technically pubic hair. For some reason, when you type this in, a photo of, I think, photoshopped bearded politician comes up. I have no idea why. But back to Mr. Cavill. Yes, his mustache story was very controversial because it cost $3 million. $3 million to remove a mustache. Good God. So it basically explains here that while they were shooting Fallout, he got hired to do the Justice League reshoots. He had the mustache and the producer said, we can't lose this mustache. We need this mustache. And they came to the conclusion that even if they did shave the mustache off and allow him to regrow it, I guess it wouldn't be fully regrown by the time he had to go back to shooting the other movie. And so instead of choosing to put a fake mustache on him in Mission Impossible, he calculated the cheapest possible way to do this was to spend $3 million removing his mustache from the Justice League reshoots instead of spending who knows how much money adding a mustache to his face in Mission Impossible, because there was going to be a lot of close-ups and they just figured it would look too bad. It's crazy to me that one tiny little bit of facial hair on one person's body cost a major Hollywood studio $3 million. Like, that's kind of props to Henry Cavill for just losing them that much money, but damn. Okay, guys, I think I understand what happened. They took Henry Cavill's mustache and they put it onto Dakota Johnson. That's what happened. I figured it out, guys. I've got it. Case closed. Not quite, because we've got one more story. This last story that we're looking at is iconic for quite a number of reasons. We're going to discuss Sigourney Weaver from 1979's Alien by Ridley Scott. I want to say before I get into this scene that I'm about to talk about is a little bit controversial. It has been said to be unnecessary nudity that the director sort of got out of this actress in a way that wasn't quite necessary to the plot, let's just say. I do want to point out, I did find this post from an interview with Sigourney Weaver long time ago where she basically, let me just read it to you. She says, originally there was going to be a lot of nudity in the film, of the matter-of-fact variety. There were going to be lots of shots of naked people walking around because it was such a harsh environment. It would have been a nice contrast. As for my strip, people have said, oh, how could you demean yourself by doing a striptease? And I say, are you kidding? After 5 days of blood and guts and fear and sweat and urine, do you think Ripley wouldn't take off her clothes? It never occurred to me for a second that people would think my strip exploitative. I think it's kind of provocative. You're almost seeing me through the alien's eyes. Suddenly I go from a dark green animal to a pink and white animal. So I liked all this stuff. You see the alien in its birthday suit the entire film, so I thought it was a cop-out having me wear the underwear and not stripping entirely. Fox is always concerned about losing Spain, Italy, etc., but I must say, having received the mail I have, I would now think twice about taking off all my clothes in a movie and scampering around for an hour. So this is in reference to the end of the movie. Wrong tab. This is in reference to the end of the movie where she strips down to her panties. So I'll show you a shot there just so you get the visual. The reason I wanted to show you that is because of this tweet. Now, I tried for the life of me, I tried to verify if this was real, and I tried so hard to find the original commentary clip. And if it's out there, I will find it and I can update and make a video. But supposedly from the Alien Quadrilogy box set released, the director's commentary, Ridley Scott appears on and says at one point this quote, "She refused to pull up her panties and shave at all. We had to pay someone in 1979 something like $5,000 to airbrush out all her minge hair on every single cell of film. It took weeks." Minge hair. Okay. Yeah, so that's a pretty interesting quote, if you ask me. Here, of course, we have a demand to release the bush cut, which I think, you know, is a fair demand. But to me, there's a few things to this story. First of all, I think it's totally badass for Sigourney Weaver to refuse to shave or do anything she otherwise wouldn't do just for a movie shoot. I think that's kind of baller. Second of all, that's hilarious that, like, it could have just been sold if she had, like, high-rise underwear that you know, they wouldn't have had to CGI at all if she just had underwear that covered, like, that area, which is just so funny. Thirdly, the idea that it was somebody's job and probably still is somebody's job, as we can see with this Namor headline, to literally spend their day editing actors' genital regions. I mean, you got people editing Namor's bulge down, you got people editing Dakota Johnson's, I don't know, giving her a hairdo. The idea that, like, Hollywood hires that many people to worry about this sort of stuff purely for the reason they're prudish, right? They want to portray what they think is like the safest version of sexuality and nudity possible. And I think that's silly, because if you ask me, nudity, sex, sexuality. It's messy and it's complicated and it's unique to every person. And I think there's no reason you can't portray these things accurately, especially when you have a finite amount of actors in Hollywood. What's the point of not portraying them as they are? If you're just going to change everything about them, essentially, then what's the point of even having actors? Just make an AI do the whole thing. I wonder if they'll get AI to do like genital edits in the future. That would be kind of interesting. But until AI comes to edit our genitals away, we are left, we're going to finish on Martin. I think that's appropriate. We are left with the concept of cinema, the concept of Hollywood acting. Do I even want to be an actor anymore after all these years spent on stage, dressing up, doing flamboyant things, making videos? And the answer is, why would I do it for somebody else? Why would I work for a company or a studio that would, at the drop of a hat, give me a donkey-sized penis or take away my pubic hair or put pubic hair on me? I don't know. My approach will be this: independent, self-made content where I can decide just how much penis I show and just how little I show. But there we have it, folks. That's the video. That's the discussion. We had a little bit of fun today. We looked at some goofy things that Hollywood's been up to with a bunch of different actors' genitals. It's always interesting looking at stuff like this because, well, people are weird. And that's what we do here. We showcase the weird, wonderful things of the world. If you tune in next time, you're going to see something just as good as this, something just as unexpected. And the only way you can do that is if you like and subscribe and come back next time. Have a good one. Goodbye. I'll see you later. Okay, time to go. That's right, folks. I'm hung like a donkey.